Right. I have trivia about the room. So basically, my brother's new girlfriend actually went to one of the screenings of it. I don't know where it was, but she actually met what's his name? Oh, the bloke who started.
Only Wasu.
Yeah, there's a picture of her and him.
Yeah, they still do world tours on it, man. Like they do, they screen it and then they do like Q&As after.
But yeah, she actually got a picture of him. I was like, no way. What a coincidence. Also, there's a video I've got to share with you as well.
Nice. But yeah, it's quite common, yeah. Like Rob was saying. I just never wanted to go to any of them because I didn't want to put myself through that.
I'd love to, man. Apparently people well, actually, I don't know. I mean, I was going to say it must be really nice, but thinking of it now that I'm about to say it out loud, it's probably really annoying. Apparently people like speak along the words as they're playing out on screen. So it's like a sing along.
No,
it's like a talk along.
I think that adds to the enjoyment.
Right.
As me personally, I think it adds to it. And everyone's there for the same reason. They enjoy it. I just wouldn't be enjoying it, and I'd be really annoyed that I'm still there the whole time, which is why, of course, I wouldn't put myself through it if I don't enjoy it. But I get why people do. It's kind of like how I enjoy Sharkboy and Lavagirl.
Oh, that was a masterful segue into kicking us off, Emmanuel.
It's the first. Thanks, that was an accident. It's the first kind of. You said pick a film before all this, a film you like that you know is bad. I couldn't remember any film that I actually liked like that because I don't remember any. But this is the first time, and I think it's because I've seen this again now, like maybe 10 years later, because I saw it like with siblings and stuff. But the first time seeing it now, like when I'm older, or second, third time, whatever, I was like, this is so bad, but I like it. It's fun. So I was like, wait, it actually works. Because I just picked it because it was a film I enjoyed when I was younger, and it had a terrible score. I remember it being not great, but I think when I was younger, I gave it like a 4 out of 10. So my score now is not that much different. It's like, is it 3.5 or something?
Something like that, yeah. Let me have a look.
Yeah. So it's not much different, but I kind of understand even more so why it's so bad.
3.2 is your score now.
Oh, 3.2. So it's gone down by like 0.8 of a score. But oh wait, Alex not here yet?
He's on his way. He'll probably be quite late. So
yes.
Okay, cool.
Fucking hell, we changed it to a Saturday and he fucking turns up late.
We changed it to the Saturday for Emmanuel.
Yeah, for me. Alec tried to change his shift, so I understand.
Alec wasn't even going to be here, so you actually ever read our messages, Dan? You might have known that.
No.
I think that was my favourite bit about you trying to start the call yesterday. Is you were like, nobody says anything. It's like, we had a whole conversation about it.
Yeah, I think multiple conversations. But the thing is, like both me and Dan aren't always in the chat that much. So we come in at choice times, and then if we don't ask, then that's what's going to happen basically. That's why I'm always kind of asking, like, what did I miss?
To be honest, I was quite happy it was going to be today because I got more stuff done last night. So that's quite pleased.
But yeah, the finish off, I picked it because it was kind of nostalgic. I remember it not being a great film anyway, and then it had a 19% score. I was like, you know what? I think this would be a nice film to pick that is bad, but at least people will remember like around the times in Spy Kids and things that came before it that were much better. And unfortunately, why this one just doesn't add up, like kind of it doesn't match up to any of those films in terms of quality. But it's still kind of a fun, really bad film. Anyway, for me it was. But so sorry if anyone really hated it, but or wish they didn't watch it or waste their time. But okay,
You know
you
what,
can
man?
start.
Like I do genuinely think it's one of the worst films I've ever seen. But at the same time, I yeah, I do feel like I've got something from watching it, even if that something is like mostly confusion. Like there was so much going on that I started writing notes because like I was like, I'm not going to remember all this to talk about it. And about so 5 times I've written, why does it look so bad?
Probably because they were way more focused on the 3D element than they were on making it actually look good.
Oh man,
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it, man.
Yeah.
Do you know, the
There
bit
was-
that tipped me over the edge? Well, actually, there was a few bits that tipped me over the edge. So, right when it very first started, when you first see the sharks, I was like, I don't get it. Like, this is CGI, and they've made it look like the rubber ones from Batman. They didn't have to do that. Like, why? And then later on, when they go to the land of milk and cookies, I was like, it's a fucking land of milk and cookies. Why does it look so dull?
Well, here's the secret, Rob. It's because Max is actually really fucking boring and he can't dream up anything good.
Well, this is another thing as well. When they first said to him like, "Come back to Planet Drool with us," and he's like, "No, I'm going to stay here where my parents are arguing. I don't want to go to Planet Drool." I was kind of thinking, if you've dreamt this place and you've already seen it, I too would probably stay where my parents are arguing rather than going to that shithole.
I mean, I'll tell you, like, there's a lot about this film that's like bad, but my probably least favorite thing about it is their their depiction of like Pretty, which is like the teacher's daughter. First of all, wearing weird granny glasses. Like, I don't get why she was wearing the weird, like, really.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's a bit strange.
But also just the fact that they like slapped her in the face with a ridiculous amount of makeup, and she's like 10, and like that just really upset me because like okay, Lavagirl had like makeup on too, but it was a bit more subtle. Um, but with her, they were just like, oh, she's gonna be the one later on that's like the prettiest in the land or whatever, and they were just like, here.
I think
She's
it
got-
get kind of. Oh, sorry, James.
I was going to say she just looked like one of them girls from a beauty pageant in America.
Yeah, and
You know, when they
Yeah,
just plaster shit on them and they're just like, oh god, what the fuck is that?
and literally the only reason they gave her glasses is so she could have that moment of taking them off. Like,
Good Hollywood movie trope.
well, exactly, yeah. It's the really old movie trope of like, oh, she's actually pretty under the glasses, and it's like, it's fucking glasses.
she's pretty with the glasses. Yeah.
You know,
It-
what got me was the, you know, they said about the trainer fault, and it wasn't a trainer, it was a bus.
Yeah,
I was like,
Oh yeah.
wait a minute, this is supposed to be a train. Why the fuck has it got a door
bus.
that opens like a bus?
There
Oh
was a
man, I
few
didn't
things
see
with
that.
with that girl. The bit that I found the most offensive, to be honest, was like the whole setup for her being the ice queen. Because like when she showed up and like it was her, I was like, so she's the ice cream because she sits underneath the air conditioning unit.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Me and Camilla was just like, or Camilla kept just saying, yeah, that's his like the one he has the crush on. Lava Girl is basically a different version of the crush, and now he's got the real crush. But before that, the pageant thing, like you were saying with the girl with tons of makeup, I think still to this day that's still normalized in America within those circles. I still don't get it. I'm just like, I
No,
still don't get it. But
I
yeah.
get child pageant things like because it's such a big thing in America, and I'm always just like, what like? You're trying to live vicariously through your child, and you're just turning them into monsters.
I get the pageants. Don't get me wrong. I get the pageants. I don't get the amount of makeup that gets put on most of them though, because it always looks bad, so bad. That much makeup and the way they've applied it would look bad on any adult.
Yeah, but that's a lot of people do it anyway. But even just without that, I don't get the pageant. Like, they're 10. Who the fuck cares?
I think it's to me like a pageant is quite similar to getting your kid into modeling from a young age. There are some kids or some children who actually love that kind of stuff, and it's just natural for them. So kids, a lot of those kids tend to be in the modeling scene anyway, so they tend to get recommended. Oh, why don't you try and get into the pageant scene as well? Kind of trail or whatnot, and then you'll get more contacts, just like you have um over all around the world. You have little girls or and boys who are into the dancing scene, and they'll go to dancing competitions. So it's kind of like just another networking event where they get into that and they get more kind of modeling numbers and contacts, and they can get more jobs.
I mean,
So I kind of get in that way. It's just done in such a bad way.
I get that, but like the difference for me between like a modeling thing and like a dancing thing is that one of them is a skill-based thing, the other is purely on looks. And again, they're fucking young children, so it just feels very just weird and kind of predatory to me. Like I don't like it.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of those shows like Dance Mums and that kind of thing. I think like a few of them are on Netflix now. But yeah, it's really uncomfortable to watch. Like you kind of sat there like somebody should really investigate these people.
Right?
Uh,
Like again, I get it if
yeah,
it actually requires like a skill because I mean, coming back to the movie, even looking at what's his name, Taylor Lautner or whatever,
mm,
um like
yeah,
done any movies before this, but I feel like he got this like to be fair, his acting in this wasn't bad, but I feel like he got this role because of like the acrobatic stuff. And that's it.
mm.
yeah. He's done one. I'm trying to think of the last action film I know he's done. It was between the Twilight films. I don't think it was good, but he did one action film more recently. So that's probably something he gets picked for quite a bit before this anyway. Like smaller films that have parts like that. Um, I wonder what martial arts he did. I never looked it up.
I'm not sure he'd done any. I think he just was doing stuff.
Oh no, he had training. Like a kid that age, the way he moved, it looked it looked like a lot of kids I've seen doing either karate, jiu-jitsu, or different things, especially the way he was twirling the kind of stick like a very short Joe staff. Because I've seen kids practice with it in martial art competitions around the world as well, and it looked exactly the same. So in the stance and stuff, so I was like, he's definitely trained. I just don't know enough to recognize what it was. I don't know,
Maybe.
maybe Sam would be able to know more since she's seen much more.
Do you know
Maybe.
what the real tragedy is? Oh, sorry, John.
I was just gonna say, I just figured that like, well, it could easily just be that. Um, like normally when people are acting from that age, they've been like training to act for a long time, so it could just have been part of his like acting repertoire that he trained that stuff.
You know what the real tragedy of all this is, though, is that he's potentially gone through all this training, but because of this film, whenever somebody mentions his name, all I'm going to think is that's not how showers work.
I don't get it.
So the bit where is his name Max, the guy who's having the dreams,
Yeah.
the bit where Max takes him home and then he like fills up his shower with water, and Sharkboy's just like swimming in the shower.
Sharkboy.
Yeah, that's not how showers. Again, I didn't pay attention. I just assumed it was a random tank, which was unrealistic. Where is Ryan?
I found it really jarring, man. Like I don't know, just the image of him. I don't know. Like it's almost as bad as the It's almost scarred me as much as the shark vagina from Lighthouse. I don't know. I don't know why I find it so unsettling, but I do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, out of all the things in this dream world, I don't know why that's what stuck to you.
Maybe it's because it's the only bit of it that looked kind of realistic, and it wasn't.
The story was dumb, the characters were dumb, the production was terrible, the acting wasn't all that bad, but like I wanted to give a higher score for a lot of the things, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
I just found it all really confusing, to be honest, because I was saying to the others, like, it's sort of like with The Room, for example, you're kind of watching it and it's kind of endearing because you're kind of thinking, well, Tommy Wiseau probably can't do any better. Like you feel like it's bad because he doesn't know any better, kind of thing. Whereas with this, like you know that Robert Rodriguez knows how to make a film. So I don't understand how he released this without going, this looks dreadful. Like this, like at very least, how he didn't go, we need to brush up this CGI. Like it's
Yeah.
Maybe he actually doesn't. He's not the reason his films are good. Kind of like some people, they're good because they have certain people on board who help them be that good. But he's just like, he didn't have those people, so it ended up crap.
I mean,
possibly.
he literally named the teacher, who is someone's dad in there, Electricidad.
Oh yeah, sure, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I think it's also a link to the character. Oh, sorry, John.
I didn't realize it until right at the end, because like I was more focused on as soon as he turned up and had that weird name, I was like, okay, so he's gonna be the villain, like before I even knew about the dream stuff. But then like near the end of the movie when he's got the plate in front of him again, I was like, wait, that literally just says Electricidad.
Do you know something else that I didn't notice was so you know when Linus comes in and he's got like a massive L on his chest, and then later on he like comes back and he's got like his superhero shirt and now he's minus, and he literally goes minus and like points to his chest. Even though all that happened, I was like, why is his symbol a rectangle? I don't get it. And I only noticed like yesterday that it was a minus.
You fucking idiot.
I know.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, right, man. Thing is, like, when I realised as well, I was like, it's so obvious, but and the thing, I don't know. I also think though, like having a character with like a huge L, the only thing I can think of when I see like an L on somebody's person is Luigi.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird on its
Yeah.
own. Someone would wear a shirt with their initial on it. Although like, people actually do that. It's weird.
The only time I can think of that is the kind of trope of someone makes you a sweater or jumper and it has your initial on it, and you're just like, okay, I'll wear this once and then get rid of it somehow.
I think it's more of an American thing to be like to wear stuff like that.
That little actor is fantastic. I don't know if it's been said already because I just got here, but I do really like that scene where they're arguing about the dream journal, and then he comes in and he goes like, "Mr. Electricitad, send him to the principal's office and have him expelled." It's just
Yeah.
That's what Bob was saying.
Yeah, I added a point to enjoyment for that scene.
excellent.
So I think there was two scenes that I added a point for enjoyment for. That was one of them. I can't remember the other. Oh, the other one was when you first meet the sharks and one of them's like, "Don't get him, he's all right." But I must admit, the scene with Mr. Electricidad where he's like, "Linus, you're gonna get a minus. I mean Linus." Like that made me laugh as well. I think it was supposed to make me laugh, but I wasn't.
Actually, that was
for the
one of the
reasons it was
only
made
good
to
jokes.
Well, that's the thing. Like I was laughing at how bad the joke was, but like I guess it still achieved its goal of making me laugh. So
But that's why I was surprised that you didn't pick up on the minus thing already, because I was like, that was a really fucking odd delivery there.
well, that's the thing. I knew his name was minus. I just didn't understand the rectangle until I realised that's the sign for a minus.
It's the thing, like that joke loses any potential to be funny once you like. Because as soon as I heard it, I was like, okay, cool, that's his supervillain name. Like,
Alec, I was saying earlier on that the bit that got me the most was when he started singing.
Oh yeah, the lullaby.
Yeah, the lullaby. The lyrics were so bad. Like, I'm like, you're just. Oh.
I don't know.
I was just confused by that whole thing, man. Because like Lavagirl sings, and then Sharkboy sings right after. Purpose. And I was just sat there like, why does Sharkboy get auto-tuned but Lavagirl doesn't?
Do you guys know who wrote the song?
I hope it was Robert
Rodriguez?
Rodriguez's son, because if it wasn't,
it was Robert Rodriguez himself.
oh, for fuck's sake, Robert Rodriguez wrote that and not his 5-year-old son.
Oh God.
Incredible.
I think you might be right, Emmanuel. I don't think Robert Rodriguez deserves the credit for anything he's ever done well.
Yeah, I actually truly believe that. They think that. I'm trying to think. Okay, yeah.
But yeah, Rob, I feel like that's kind of the point of that scene. Like, not auto-tuning her, like she's supposed to be terrible.
That's the thing, though. Like, the auto-tune is so obvious that I'm like, which one of you is supposed to be bad?
I just feel really sorry for Taylor Lautner looking back on this, because you can tell when he was like, I'm really cool, and now he's like looking back on like a 30-year-old, and he's just like,
No.
I mean, he did refuse to come and rejoin for the second one. Unlike
there was a second
the
one.
girl. Yeah, I posted in the
Oh.
class. I was like sarcastic saying, "Oh, aren't y'all excited for this? Like the girl Taylor is coming back and whatnot." But the guy, he's like, "No, I'm not coming back." And Rob was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't watch it if he was in it anyway."
I don't blame him.
Oh,
You lagged a little bit there, Emmanuel. It sounded like you said, "Aren't thou excited?" I think you should make that your thing now.
Aren't thou excited? Does mother know you wear her dress?
You make me sad.
I think I said this with Rob and Dan here. I don't know if anyone else is here, but I was saying it made me think of a really badly done version of Inside Out. Like someone tried. If you think about similar things, as a kid going through a kind of change in his life. Is at age 10, he's like, people are telling him like his perception of reality is not the same, so his thoughts are changing. His parents are kind of going through a hard phase at home, and that's reflecting in his dreams and what he thinks in his mind, and his kind of characters in his mind are kind of working with him to solve it. But it's just terrible. Terribly done.
His lactose intolerance manifests as the land of milk and cookies.
You are right, actually. I hadn't really thought about it before, but you are right. But I think that the reason that Sharkboy and Lavagirl doesn't work, though, is because you've got everyone going like, "Oh, stop living in a dream world, get to reality," and then you see his dream world, and you're like, "It's probably good advice."
And then his dream comes to life. That was all confused. Anyway,
I love that bit where I think it's Lavagirl is like, "Recognize your dream world, Max," and you can. It's not on purpose, but you can see in his face that he's like, "Not really."
That's why I have a dream journal. I don't remember most of it.
I'd have loved it if he was like, I don't know if I was picturing a CGI, just a bad CGI nightmare. Well, no.
So the thing was, it was the bit at the start where he goes to bed and all them plugs. I'm like, what the fuck do you need all them plugs for? It's like that is a health and safety hazard.
Yes.
He's just gonna catch his face on fire.
Oh, that made me. I think I cringed at that. I was like, no. I'm immediately thinking that's so dangerous. Like a spark. Some kid's gonna do that. I think so many adults do that as well. And I'm just like, no. What are you doing? That's not good.
Also, what I didn't get was what was actually plugged into it, because there was only one thing that was a light, and it was his alarm clock. Anything else?
A really energy-intensive alarm clock.
It was just all these plugs for no devices.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that.
That could have been a tagline for the whole film. All these plugs for no devices.
Exactly. Oh no.
True. I think it must. Because there was only like 3 things it showed. You had the lava lamp, you had the shark clock, I think, or something like that. And then I think there was one other thing. But like, what about everything else?
What about the robot? When they're talking to him, he's like, "Your eyes and mouth can move," and then he starts flying. I was just like, "What is this?"
That robot was possibly the creepiest fucking character that's ever been committed to film.
But it was the fact he's just flying eyes and mouth. I'm like, where did this go? What? That actually made me laugh. I was just like, this is so absurd.
Are you all right, John?
Yeah.
You look very sad.
I mean, that's what these calls are these days.
Oh,
Oh,
What is this film? That's the problem.
is it because they're all bad films? I do like the fact that we've picked films that have
me
like a
too, Dan.
fun-
Me too.
No, but they've got. It's like they're the worst of like certain things. Like one was why you shouldn't make a remake. Why you like this one was why you shouldn't make a kid. I had the. I can't even talk properly. Like the worst kids film you could ever make. You've got like The Room, which is the worst film ever.
The Room is just its own genre.
Yeah, it's just so bad. But it's like what not to do in films. These are the films you got to watch.
Well, can we also talk about the fact that like the Sharkboy intro was pretty shit. Lavagirl's is pretty bad too, because first of all, her hair isn't purple, it's pink. And then about it being purple, and it's not. But also, why didn't they just make her hair red? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Lovely.
I do like the idea though that her hair actually was purple, but the CGI and just everything was so bad that they just didn't bother to color match it properly in the edit.
thing like
Is it?
Yeah.
would have been like kind of pulling from Hercules a bit, but they could have easily done the multicolored hair thing where, like, you know, sometimes it's red, sometimes it's blue kind of thing, depending on the mood. But they just went, "Ah, it's purple." It's not, but we're going to tell you it is.
Yeah,
Did you?
suspension
you
of the disbelief.
I was gonna say, did you like the fact that there was green? You could see the green screen on their face as well. Which what made me laugh as
They
well.
didn't do the shadow mapping.
No one bothered rotoring out the fucking green screen on their face.
Honestly, it was such like just visual vomit that I couldn't even like. I couldn't even notice that. Like if I tried.
Do you know what? I did. Sorry, Dan.
I was going to say that's probably why I hated it so much. It's because it looks so bad. I had to watch an hour and a half of just awful CGI. It also reminded me of. Remember the kids' adverts where they're trying to sell you a toy and it's like, buy the new blah blah blah, and they're like, oh my god, that's amazing, and it was just like that for an hour and a half. It was just that kind of aesthetic where it's just like, oh, this is garish, oh, this is horrible, please stop, and it's just continued the whole way through, and you're just like, oh, just kill me.
To be fair, it wouldn't surprise me if like we're just going to make this movie to try and make toys.
Yeah.
Like, that's why it's so bad. But something else that I was just remembered that makes me laugh is they go through the effort of showing you like Sharkboy growing gills and growing a fin and everything, and that, like, okay, it looks shit, but it looks like it actually grew on him kind of thing. And then they just give him a costume, and like there's a point where he's told to pick up the crystal with his claws and then doesn't manage it, so he just gives his glove, which I guess is his claws, to, like, what? Is
Yeah.
that the costume?
Yeah,
I just love his whole anatomy, and it's like much like a shark, he learned their ways. He grew talons, and I was like, okay. He learned corporea and mixed martial arts, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think Robert Rodriguez knows how shark fins work. I don't. He seems to be able to like kind of stop himself from falling by lodging his fin into walls, and he can like cut things in half with his shark fin. But if a kid falls on it, it breaks.
Yeah, that's something I was going to mention as well, because there's a huge inconsistency with like Sharkboy from the start to the end. Because I mean, you could argue that like his teeth were always like either shark-like or just normal, but that was just because maybe he could like make them happen whenever he wanted to, and it's a dream, so whatever. But there's the whole point of like he literally is like, oh, he can't be underwater because he's going to drown. But surely, if he has gills, then surely he can survive underwater. So it's kind of like,
Oh, that the whole point of sharks is that they have to move to survive. Like that's
right.
Yeah.
I suppose that was it then. The fact that he was unconscious makes sense.
It's
Yeah,
so
they had a
that
bit of thought behind it then.
and
I
also
think that
air
well,
has to go through their gills.
Yeah.
like with the teeth thing, sharks like regrow their teeth, so like it's dumb, but it makes sense.
There was a
It's only
line.
the bottom
It's like
teeth,
one
right?
teeth are like normal.
It's
Or
the
his top
bottom,
teeth are normal and bottom teeth weren't.
yeah.
He had both at one point.
There was a line that you said there, Ben, which, if you were talking about Robert Rodriguez, would completely sort of make sense of this film, and that was, it would make sense if he's unconscious.
Wait, say that again, Rob. Sorry, say that last part again.
I said that there was a line that Ben said that had completely explained this film if he was talking about Robert Rodriguez, and that was, it would make sense if he was unconscious.
Oh man, that's yeah.
It was so worth hearing that twice just for Emmanuel's reaction. Just so pure.
I refuse to believe he actually made it. I reckon his kid has sort of just made the film while he was asleep and then just stuck his dad's name on it.
Maybe, to be fair.
Oh,
I wondered if that's what he meant by it being a Rodriguez family production.
Yeah.
oh yeah, it did say that at the start, didn't it?
Unless he just watched the final cut and then he was like, I'm not taking the fall for this.
Yeah.
Can I just quickly ask, is my fan like making a bit of like feedback for anybody? Like, is that?
No,
Not
I think
really.
it might be Pat's.
I was
No.
gonna.
It's
That's
Pat.
got worse.
Fuck you, Pat Sawyer.
Took your fan out. Face.
Do you know what? Like when I was watching this, it's only when you're talking anyway. But yeah, when I was watching it, like, so to sort of like, I suppose, demonstrate how bad the CGI was, right? I was watching it alone and on the sofa. So I sit on this side and Rachel's normally to my left. And as soon as it started, like 5 seconds in, I was looking at the water textures and the sharks and whatever. And I actually looked at where Rachel would normally be, and it was just this empty seat. And I kept looking back to it, just like.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
someone for me to be like, the fuck.
Oh, wait, did she actually leave or something?
No, she didn't want to watch it.
Has she watched it before?
No.
Oh, why did she want to watch it?
I don't know. I think she saw the poster and she was like, "No, not this week."
See, I told
No,
Evie
no.
I told Evie you'd pick this, and she was like, "Oh fuck yeah, I love Sharkboy and Lavagirl." And then we like started watching it, and her face just went from going to it was like a landslide. She was just like completely like just upset the whole time. Like, fuck, this is awful.
I had
You
that
did tell her
experience
it's
with
meant to be a
Sharkboy.
bad film, though, right?
Yeah. But she remembered it being better.
Oh, when she was younger.
I had that
it does have
exact
that effect.
experience with Shark Tale, because I remember Shark Tale being awesome, right? And then I watched it again a couple of years ago, and I was just like, "What the fuck? This looks terrible."
Oh
Oh
no!
man.
Yeah, that's.
I got a film for you. The fucking Power Rangers movie.
No.
I remember that being.
You've had your pick.
I know, but I'm saying I remember that being really good. And then when I watched a bit of it recently, there was something about CGI and stuff. I watched a bit of it. I'm just like,
Oh, the ooze looks so bad.
Yeah, this is years.
the whole
Yeah.
film, like.
I thought that was
CGI
bad back then.
Oh my god!
Was we were just kids.
It's-
So
yeah,
have we had the conversation about whether this is a good children's movie or not? Because I remember that was the basis that Emmanuel picked it on.
No, it was nostalgic.
I distinctly remember you going, "This is a good kids' film."
No,
I just
that
want to
was
know if
the
anyone wants to
Emoji
take that
Movie.
stance for this.
No,
after we've
that
all
was-
watched it.
I mean,
That
it's
was the Emoji Movie that I didn't pick.
good.
Yes, because I knew people would think it's absolute trash and wish
it
to
probably
actually kind of
would,
hate
I
them
don't
for
know.
picking it.
I think
fucking
Emotion
would,
Movie would have got better scores.
it probably would have, because it doesn't look as shit.
I honestly don't know what was worse, the actual production or the acting.
The production was definitely worse.
Yeah, at least the
Yeah.
actors had a semblance of acting, whereas the CGI,
Yeah.
I'm not sure it convinced me it was
Well,
CGI.
that's the thing. It's like the acting is kind of like most of them are kids, so you kind of have to give them a free pass there because they're not exactly experienced, are they?
I mean, they all but, like the main, apart from Max was a bit shit, but like Sharkboy and Lavagirl weren't bad, like acting the roles.
Yeah, as you expect. Yeah.
Yeah, they just had terrible script. Well,
Yeah.
everyone had a terrible script.
I think the problem with the acting is you kind of go, oh, it's a kids' film and it's children's stars, so but at least the adults will be better, and you're like, no, somehow they're worse than the children.
Yeah.
Like,
That's true.
it's worse because you're an adult.
The mum is like been in so much shit as well. Like she was in Sex and the City. She was in that recent Netflix film that was complete shit. And
she really surprised me because I recognised her. I was like, oh, it's David Arquette and that woman. Like, I don't know what her name was, but I recognised her from other stuff. And then the scene where they walk in on Max eating the cookies, she's literally just like, my cookies, my giant cookies. And I was just like, what? I mean, just on the comparison, Pat, I think between the two for me, acting, if it wasn't for the adults like doing scenes like that, it might have got a 2, but production only got a 1 because I'm not allowed to give it a 0.
Yeah, I'd really want to give this a 0. If you were going to bend your rules. Oh, if you were ever inclined to bend your rules, I would give this an absolute 0 for production and nothing else.
The film that she was in on Netflix was Deadly Illusions.
I don't think I've seen that.
And my brother tells me it's like the biggest piece of shit ever.
More than this?
I don't know. It could be.
We watched this, The Room, and fucking Nick Cage screaming at a fucking bunch of weirdos.
Isn't every Nick Cage movie?
But see, Sharkboy and Lavagirl is just The Room if it had CGI, but bad CGI. Like, you know, no one can act and the writing's awful, but now we've also got like, I don't know, the products of a deranged mind, but in bad CGI, also floating around. Like,
At least the acting was better than Nick Cage, like you said in Wicker Man.
Oh, I don't even know if it is.
They actually portrayed some kind of emotion, even if it was.
I don't know if they do.
Well done.
Well, the only person that had any emotion, I thought, was David Arquette. Because like there was moments where like I was kind of going, oh, okay, I kind of believe you, David. But then that was kind of cancelled out by his wife going, my cookies, my giant cookies.
Can I just say? No, the teacher's awful all the time.
I quite like that actor in sort of his comedy skits. So I sort of gave him a pass.
To be fair, I don't think that the teacher is awful. I think he probably acted exactly as he was asked to. Like, I think he's a good actor, and I think the direction was probably just bad because, like, his delivery and everything. There's like, I don't think there's any way anyone would do that without being told specifically to do it.
Yeah, you are right, to be fair. I mean, we're all shitting on the acting, but you have got to ask, if the CGI was that terrible, then what was the acting direction like?
Exactly.
So to play devil's advocate, coming back to Alex's earlier question, I don't think it's a good kids movie, but I don't think it's a terrible one. Like, they did try and have like a bit of a moral to kids in there, being like, oh, basically being like, you know, you shouldn't give up your dreams, but at the same time, like, in a kind of way, it was like, but maybe you should, you know, calm them down a bit, like make them a bit more reasonable, and like, you know, you don't always have to fight people, like, you know, you can make friends, etc., etc. It's pretty generic, like low level shit, but at least like tried to have something in there.
Yeah, I think it should be said, like, there are, I think that, like, as bad as it is, there is like a legitimate sort of like structure underneath it all, and there are like setups and payoffs and everything, and it's down to like lines of dialogue that kind of like get reincorporated. So like, it's really badly done, and I hate it. But like, I have to acknowledge that there is actually like kind of a structure at work.
I mean, yeah, they had the milk and cookies, and then you went to Milk and Cookies Land.
Yeah, there you go.
there is
cookies.
I think that's the thing though. Like, you can tell that somebody who as an idea of what they're doing has written it, sort of unlike The Room. But it's just so badly done. Like I was saying earlier, like I think it's terrible that the Ice Queen turned out to be the kid who was sitting underneath the air conditioning unit. Like that's just that's an unforgivable setup and payoff.
I just realized this is the worst film. On that chart, I knew it was down there, but I didn't realize it's actually the lowest one. So I think I'll like. Okay.
John at the back.
Yeah, to be honest, Rob, like, while it's clear that they wanted that to be a connection, I never took it like that. Because like it was about, like, the whole point was that it wasn't just his dreams, it was other people's as well. And she'd already, like, we'd seen that she'd written the story of like the Ice Queen and whatever the fuck she called him. So like she
Was it Dream Boy?
I think it was Dream Boy. So I was fine with it from that perspective. It's like I guess because it was so bad, I kind of just ignored the aircon bit.
Well, that's going to be my excuse for not realizing that the rectangle was a minus sign in that case.
You know what I think the real story of this movie is that I reckon Sylvester Stallone got involved. The script was actually really good.
He admitted he'd never heard of Sharkboy or Lavagirl.
Yeah, he was like, I was in Spy Kids, I know what I'm doing.
You imagine if he just wandered onto set and he was like, I don't know who these people are. And then like Robert Rodriguez, his son, is just like, that's because I just made him up, you fucking idiot.
He walks in and he sees the girl and he's like, put makeup on that bitch.
I think like, because this is something else. It's sort of like saying that there are setups and payoffs as well, and it's sort of like some of them are reasonably kind of okay, but like some of them are. The planet is called Drool because it's so cool it makes you drool, and it's
and also
it's that kind of...
there's also the fact that he meets his arch nemesis in his dream world, and just goes, "We should be friends," and then he goes, "Yeah, all right."
that whole fight is so weird to me. I don't know. Like he goes, "I'm gonna fire piranhas at you," and Max goes, "I'm gonna fire bubbles at you," and I was like, "Max, you're fucked." And then the bubble encapsulate the piranhas, and I was like, "Oh." And then he goes, "Brainstorm," and I was like, "You can't say brainstorm." But then all the brains fall on him, and then Minus goes, "Brain freeze," and the brains all freeze. And then he goes, brain fart, and then Minus's head fucking inflates, and he falls over because his head's too big.
Like that scene was dumb because first of all, I don't think the brains actually froze. I think they just stopped. Like I don't think there was anything showing them like frozen or anything. But then yeah, they're going through the whole thing of them like summoning different things. And then he goes brain fart, and it affects him. And it's like, wait, hang on, why don't you just do that in the first place if it's going to affect it? And then they're like, I'm going to shoot up on a rock tower, be taller than you. I'm going to be taller than you. And then there's no build up to them reconciling at all. Just like in the real world, there's no build up to them reconciling at all. They just.
I'm gonna make a confession because my like body betrayed me for that one when they're going up on the towers, and I think like on a very like just base instinctual level, my body gave me chills while they were going up on the thing, and I was like, "Fuck off! This is shit. Go away!" And they were like, "This is so cool," and I was like, "No!"
Dude, I think you owe it a 2 for impact.
Did Ed say it was so cool? Did you say?
This is brilliant.
Oh man! And Pat, what was the last thing you said about brain fart? Because I missed it.
Pat didn't say anything.
I just put my head in my hands.
Oh, I was just saying it does feel like it was written by some young kids. It was just like, "Hey son, what do you think is cool? Oh yeah, they should do this, and then brain freeze, and brain fart, and then go up on towers. Yeah, that's great. Let's put it in the film." That's what
Emmanuel,
Made it.
it doesn't feel like it was written by kids because I feel like it would have made more sense if it was. Like it feels like it was written by trying to pretend they were a kid. Like
It feels like
True.
someone writing it who was like, it's a kids movie, and that means I don't have to try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think the
Yeah.
CGI was done by somebody who had that attitude.
Yeah.
I don't see any other explanation for why the CGI looked so bad. Like honest, because it was.
In
It made,
2005.
I was gonna say it came out like not sort of. Well, I mean, it wasn't like in the early stages of CGI, so I don't know why it looks that bad.
I mean,
Exactly.
I guess it depends what their budget was, because like depending on how much of the budget they were able to use on the CG, they probably had to downgrade like the quality of it, or
Right.
they just didn't give a shit.
Let's
I
have a look.
agree with that.
It was 2005. So that
I saw this when I was, I want to say like 11 or 12.
So
in the
this-
cinema.
Oh shit! What's happened?
Is
Sorry, everything froze for me. I don't know why.
It's your own time you're wasting.
no, it's
Oh,
my
yeah.
time. Shut up.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the other thing to remember is that their priority would have been the 3D. So that's probably also why it was a bit shit, because they were more focused on the elements that would have like popped out of the screen. And I think that was in quite early days of 3D. So I don't know that they could have made like good CG and 3D.
Yeah, but there was a lot
Yes.
in it that I think they
True.
tried to make it look 3D, and I just like, this looks shit.
I mean, no, you didn't have the glasses on, Dan.
Oh, yeah, but
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
I
the
I was
whole,
gonna say.
It's sort of just looking at all, because you can tell which bits the 3D things are meant to be because someone's coughing something on the screen. Sorry.
Yeah, or like
you
the cuckoo.
So I
they
said
always-
like when people point at the screen.
Yeah. Or it's just like
Yeah.
and then something just there, and it's like, yeah, that was.
Which they did far too often. They did
Yeah.
a bit too many times.
and it got stuck on the screen, didn't it? And it went down, and it's just like,
No, that was the brain.
was it the brain? Yeah, I thought it was a bit strange that the fact that there's no screen there, right? So how would it get stuck to something?
That's the only fourth wall breaking moment in the film, and it's shit.
Like it's sort of a
Yeah.
it's sort of like a 3D ride kind of thing where like, or like a 4D experience where it's like you're going around and you got like the thing and it goes, oh, water's in your face, and it sprays water in your face, except it didn't have any water in your face and it was just Sharkboy up chucking on you, and it was like, oh,
Oh yeah, to a good kind of note to that is that they did make Spy Kids 4D after this film. I think it was like 2 or 3 years afterwards. I don't know where it played, but it was 4D.
it was everywhere in 4D. Yeah, I remember that.
And what I was gonna say about the production, less so now, but at the time, kind of like John was saying, CG was very expensive, and it was one of those things. If you had sense and you had low budget, you wouldn't make a film that heavily relied on CG because it was very expensive. You had, just like kind of now with Pixar level kind of quality, you had to have farms of computers and different things. It was very expensive to pay the people to do the CG. So films like Sunshine, to save money, they kind of did half CG, have realistic effects, which also helped it look more realistic and better anyway, and save money. But then, like John was saying, the 3D itself was kind of, it shouldn't be that costly, but back then it was compared to now. So
I don't even think the cost of the 3D would have mattered that much. I just think that I don't know enough about 3D from its inception to like be able to talk in depth about it. But I feel like this is the typical kind of post-production 3D that they just chucked on, but because they used like shittier CGI to like try and match it up.
I was just doing a little bit of research while you were talking about the budgets and stuff, and I mean, like, fair enough. Like the film that I'm going to compare it to isn't like it's nowhere near as CGI heavy as this, but it's like it's worth bearing in mind, I think. So it came out the same year and had pretty much the same budget as V for Vendetta.
Oh,
Wow.
Nice.
what looks better?
You know what, Pat? I agree. That is disgusting.
Ben, I've still never seen that. Just saying.
Oh,
Maybe
really?
someone may or may not pick it at some point. In the
Oh my god.
You will.
Go on it, Ben.
future.
Do it.
I'd
Go it down.
recommend it, John, just in case anyone doesn't pick it.
At some point, Ben.
It's a fucking great film.
I
Yeah.
thought you said it's a fucking gay film.
I mean, to be fair,
Oh,
No.
Pat,
Very
Come
good.
on.
my only real interaction with that movie is all the fucking anonymous masks, so it just annoyed me.
I'm bloody anonymous.
I'll still watch the movie. Like, I've heard good things about it, but just never had the desire to like go out of my way for it.
Aw.
It's a classic. It is good. It is. It's really well done on all accounts.
But I've also,
Miles better than this.
okay. I think the two movies that I always think of when I think of you guys, well, mostly Ben, I think actually, that I haven't seen, that I feel like you guys would be like, oh, what the fuck is that one? And Watchmen.
I watched that.
I was going to say, Pat, a lot of films are better than this. I know that was sarcastic. But,
a lot of films are also better than Watchmen.
Every film we've seen up to this point has been better.
yeah, the thing is, Watchmen is very decisive because you either actually, I think there's three camps. You either think it's really bad, you think it's okay, or you like it. I kind of thought it was okay, but it had a lot of bad points. It dragged on too long. There were good points and really cool things, and I thought the cinematography was cool. I liked certain things, the prison fight scene, but it had so much kind of like, why did you do this, and why did I don't care? And did someone here go to sleep watching it, or was that just someone I knew?
We specifically put Watchmen on the other day so Ed would go to sleep.
Oh man,
Because
I love
it's
that
really, it's funny because the film on its own is really good. Like I say, really good. It does it justice, but then you read the book and you're like, wow, this book is like far superior than this film.
Well, you did write
oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, but the problem is it's an element. Right? He hates everything that people make of his.
Someone find a picture of Alan Moore so everyone understands that.
Especially Humphrey in 20 years.
He fucking hates, like they say, oh,
It's a
we're
bit
gonna make this. Like, oh, fuck this.
20 years is a bit unkind, Ben.
I just, yeah, but poor Alan Moore, he's going to go, oh, why was I mentioned in this video? And it was like, Sharkboy and Lavagirl.
Oh man, I just saw
He's
the
gonna watch
picture.
it. He's gonna watch it and sue you. Like, you maybe watch this.
Yeah, it's going to ban.
For anyone who doesn't know, oh wait, this is Alan Moore or
See, it's
Humphrey.
Humphrey in 20 years.
Saying that.
Jesus Christ.
Saying that, the technology at the moment that Google are working on will be even better at picking out things that are words and stuff that are in the videos. So kind of like how they have this demo at the moment, so this is sidetracking, but you can talk to Pluto as if it's a person, and they get all the information on Pluto and can tell you about it, and you can ask them questions as if you're talking to the thing itself.
But Emmanuel,
And
he's a dog. How would he understand you?
oh,
That was a genuine question. Are you talking about Pluto the dog or Pluto the planet?
Oh, Humphrey, Humphrey.
Name of the software.
Pluto the planet, but it could do the dog as well, to be honest. But that technology will help pull more kind of quotes and stuff out of videos. So there could be a point where they retroactively do this. It's like, oh, Alan Moore's name is in this, and it just leaks to one of the search results.
That also means on the call for where John announces Judge Dredd, I'm implicated in piracy. So let's hope they don't do it.
Well, but yeah, also let's just like the really important question is like is Pluto really a dog? Because like why the fuck is like Goofy's clearly a dog as well? Why is he standing on two legs and talking? Like it just doesn't quite add up. What the fuck?
Yep.
Does that mean there's other animals in the world that are just normally? Is there little tiny mice that like are fine?
Going to strange lengths to not talk about Sharkboy and Lavagirl.
Yeah.
But
And
also,
I'm
while we're on
I
while
just
we're
said
on that
this.
subject, though, is Pluto really a planet or not?
Yeah,
Oh,
is it the
yeah.
ninth planet?
I think did they reinstate it as a planet? I can't remember.
I think they did.
I think they did the same day they made Drool a planet.
Oh,
I think the
No,
rule
I think
is
they still
that
cancel.
I think the rule is that at any point in existence, that Pluto has either been reinstated or cancelled again. It's one of the two.
It's
I've-
not cool enough to make you drool, though.
To be honest,
That is clear.
like I would say I feel bad for Pluto, but I honestly don't really give a shit. To be honest,
I
like
don't think Pluto does either.
yeah, it's like Pluto doing its own thing. Like who cares?
it's so far away, don't give a shit.
Everyone's going, Pluto, you're a shit planet, and Pluto's just like, no, I'm a brilliant rock.
No, Pluto's just like I'm sorry, I can't hear you. You're dead by the time your voice gets here.
Pluto's like, I'm in space and no one can hear you scream in space. I saw that one.
I'm tired, so let's move on.
Oh,
Well,
Seemed like
you know
How bad
the
it was.
good point about this film was
No.
when it ended.
Well, actually, when it ended, so that was another point where I was like, no, nobody gave a shit about this film because the credits started, and then the sort of end song started about 3 seconds after.
I think the scene with the parents getting sucked up into the tornado, I was fucking pissing myself because they're trying to get to the school, and then the mum goes, "Oh no!" and she gets sucked into the tornado, and then she comes back, and Lavagirl's got her, and then she lands, and then the dad goes, "Oh no! Oh, I'm getting sucked." And he gets sucked into the tornado, and then Sharkboy comes down.
thing like
Oh.
that whole scene was pretty dumb because like first of all, in a scenario, I mean actually first of all, living that close to the school is fucking ridiculous for one. Especially when she's like, "I'll walk you to school," and then steps outside the front door and goes, "See you later."
Yeah, I was so confused. I forgot that was a thing. I was like, yes, people live that close to school, but why would you say you'll walk? Why would you say I just want to?
Well,
I just want to see you cross the road.
Well, that's the thing. If she'd walked him across the road, I would have accepted it because that's the dangerous part. But she didn't.
I can absolutely see Rob
Oh,
doing
yeah.
that with his phone. I can absolutely see him go, "I will eat at school.
Well, the
Bye."
reason why is because it was fucking green screened and it's dumb.
Also, he got bullied at the same time. So as he walked into the school, she would have seen him get fucking shit thrown at him and chased.
No,
I didn't really get
Yeah.
that.
she went back for her cookies.
No, but
Oh yeah,
Her second priority.
Back to
Oh,
that.
Yeah.
Like it's really dumb because okay, it's a kids movie, fine, but she's getting like drawn up by the tornado, and then she's like, "Oh, I thought you wanted me to leave." It's like this isn't the fucking time for this.
oh, their relationship in this is so weird because it's like they're supposed to be trying to get.
They split up, and then they end up back together because
This is the
the
thing.
kids.
We're not compatible, which is clearly a "we're getting divorced" thing.
It doesn't even. They don't even make it a thing.
I
It's
wish
just
that was a
so
line in the
strange.
movie. Just like she's getting sucked into a tornado. And she's like, "I thought you wanted me to leave." And she's like, "Fucking hell, Brenda."
Oh.
You're getting sucked into a tornado.
This is the thing. It just shows. I know there are relationships where it happens that, like, literally because you haven't communicated at all, everything's gone to shit. And if you literally have one conversation, it'd be fine. But if you get to the point where you think that your husband wants you to leave so much that he'd let you die, but you saying it once makes you go, "Oh, okay." Like, but also that happens. She gets pulled away, and then he's no longer holding on to anything, but he's fine. And then another tornado comes along.
I do like the fact that the systematic abuse at the start when they're saying about you shouldn't dream and you shouldn't do this. It's like, and then the dad's sitting there like, my life's fucked, basically. he's like, oh, your mum told me I can't do this, so I'm going to be a really boring fucking person and get a proper job instead of actually doing something I want to do. It's just like, I'd fucking want to die and like not come back to this.
I would have loved the scene where like they went to a marriage counsellor or something, and he's just sat there like, she won't let me dream, and then she's like, yeah, but have you seen the land of milk and cookies that you dreamt up?
Have you seen his fucking diary? He's completely insane.
This is when
man.
you realise this is depicting Robert Rodriguez's marriage. She won't let me dream, and it's just like, here's Sharkboy and Lavagirl, and you're like, no, you shouldn't dream. You're bad at this. Don't do it.
So
You
going back
dream,
to
just
the,
don't make it to film.
I was going to say, going back to the robot, because when you see it originally, it's like a tin can on his head or something, and he's like got a whisk for a hand. And then he says, oh, I was going to build a robot to help me with my homework. I'm like, how the fuck is he going to help you with his homework? It's just a
Unless you're doing like
tin
bacon.
It's just some tin cans and a bit of metal.
He was going to help him with his homework by baking him cookies.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know what? I actually had a little bit of an existential problem with this one because, like, when he comes into the kitchen, she's like, "I was baking you cookies so that you'd make friends at school," and I was like, ha, "What a loser!" And then I was like, "Actually, that's what Eb did when I started a new job."
Aww. On a kind of related note to the walking across school, similar but random. In America, I think how old was I? Oh, I think I was about 8 or whatnot. It was the same school that we would sing Silent Night in Russian and sing certain Christmas songs in Russian. I don't really get why. But anyway, even though I lived like probably 1 to 2 minutes, like maybe 3 to 5 minutes away from school, it was like across this road. But the road was a motorway. So I couldn't actually cross it, or else I'd be playing Frogger with my life. So I had to catch the school bus, which went like 20 minutes out the way, and then come back and go to the school, because I was just like, but the school's right there, but I can't get there. I'm just like, oh, whatever. I'll get the school bus and listen to Backstreet Boys, which I really don't like. On the bus, they would play like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and I never liked any of them. I really hated them back then. It's like, this music sucks.
Look, Emmanuel, Backstreet's back, all right.
no.
No.
They should have played the long winding road by the Beatles.
Would have liked that. That would have been great. They just played crap music, and I just tuned out.
I really can't believe that your school was across the road and you had to get a bus. 20 minutes.
I'd happily listen to Backstreet over the Beatles.
Oh.
Yeah, I fucking said it.
Oh.
I'm actually on John's side.
Oh.
Or you like
God.
Loki, so.
Oh.
For mum.
What? Wait, how did Loki go into bad? I'm gonna watch Loki with Camilla.
Don't
get
I
me
don't hate
started,
it.
please.
don't
Yes, I'm gonna watch it.
do it.
Is it not good?
Or maybe I don't know tonight, but I like Falcon and Winter Soldier, so that's me. You see what my level's at. So
We're not going to talk about this now. Don't say Alec off.
We'll have another chat about Rocky in a separate call.
It's like
That's fair.
So,
Continue.
pick is it next?
It's
Oh,
my
we
pick.
done?
I mean, I just wanted. That's my. Do you want to say anything more, or shall we move on?
yeah, move on.
I wonder if there's anything. I do like your shirt, Dan, before I forget.
Oh.
I forgot to say earlier.
It's very fruity.
He's a very fruity boy.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
He looks like a coconut.
I had some more earlier. Fun fact.
Yeah.
No. I don't think I have any more. I mean,
Cool.
It's
Right.
I think there's probably a
So-
lot we could just complain about this film for
Let's do
a long
that.
time.
Oh
Not
To
do
be
that.
honest,
no.
I'm surprised the calls lasted this long considering there's fuck all in it.
Oh, there is a lot in it, to be fair.
I mean, there's a lot.
It's not good, but yeah.
There's no.
Yeah, but Pat, you don't like talking about things you don't like. So to you, there is nothing in this movie.
Pat, there was CGI sharks, and they looked rubber.
Oh, actually, that is
And-
something I want to talk
And they
about.
fucking
See, see.
I couldn't help but laugh so much when I saw the CGI rubber shark, and then they just posted the face of Taylor Lautner on it. It was the worst bit of CGI I've ever seen.
And you saw the rest of the film.
Oh, that was the worst bit. It improved slightly compared to that.
But what about the bad guy, the fucking electric, whatever is it?
Oh man.
He's
Oh,
Mr. Electric, you tit.
Yeah, that one. And he's just just a stretched face.
I have
on
to
the
say,
ball.
I did really enjoy some of Sharkboy's lines where he was just kind of like, "The dream man will defeat you, won't it? My highly trained instincts tell me that is so." And I was like, "Whoa." Where he's like, "My highly trained ears tell me this is happening." And I was like, "No."
Did the film feel slightly longer to everyone else?
Oh no, to
felt-
be fair, it flew by for me.
Really?
really.
Yeah, me
No,
too.
it
I was
was-
laughing the whole time.
What was it?
Is
An
it-
hour and a half?
Yeah.
As I said, when it got to the bit where he did his song, I was like, "That's it, I'm done.
There is
I'm
a
so done."
there is a distinct difference I want to make with this, and it's sort of like the reason my enjoyment went. Well, my enjoyment went I put it down as a 10, but I changed it to a 5 because I was laughing the whole way. But I think like the main difference for me is that like The Room I gave a 10 because like I'd recommend it as like a bad movie to enjoy, whereas this I'd only put on to get someone out of my house. Like
Yeah.
I was laughing the whole
Oh,
way, but
man.
it was like so cringe and just awful. And
Yeah.
I'd actually put this on for people in death row so they'd kill themselves.
Oh man.
Oh,
whoa,
Whoa,
oh,
Jesus
that's
Christ.
that's
saying that.
that's
Oh,
hot and
no.
spicy.
Not that it's similar, but
Oh,
before, I think something Alec was saying reminded me that Camilla was saying, "Oh, this film does recognize that Mr. Electricidad is a bad teacher."
I mean, it does. It literally the end addresses that.
Yeah, that made me laugh. I was just like, "Yeah, you're a dick."
I did love that like, right at the end. He's
Yeah.
like, "You've made me a great teacher today," and I was like, "Hang on a minute, mate. you did not achieve great yet."
He made you literally the base level of teacher, where you don't crush the kids' dreams and tell them that they're dumb and that you know everything and they don't, and then also volunteer them for possibly death.
Yeah. And
Oh,
Yeah, they're like, "We need to deal with this hurricane," and I was like, "What are you doing?"
Anyone have any ideas? It's like it looks like a tornado in any school in America. And this obviously this film's not meant to make sense, of course, at all. But normally in America, I don't know how if you guys know, but we used to have drills, just like you have fire drills every once in a while. We would have tornado drills in Alabama when a real tornado did come nearby the school. We had to go into the halls and bunker down. So it makes it even more like, why you send the kids out to their death? It makes absolutely no sense. Even if this is sorry.
I'd have found it really funny if that's where the movie just took a dark turn. Like Linus is like, I know, I'll stop him. I can take him, and then just gets squashed and like gore everywhere. And then he's, oh fuck, I failed as a teacher.
I was just waiting for that South Park line, and it's just like, "There's a tornado." Anyone got any ideas? And just someone goes, "I'm 8."
Exactly. You're acting like this is a film on the TV or something. It's like, who thinks you can stop this? It's like, no, it's right next to you and you could die. Wait, saying that, there were scenes where they made it like they acted like they was going to kill Lavagirl and Sharkboy. But obviously they're not going to kill him, but it was still weird.
I mean,
It was,
just remember that you're talking about a guy whose name is Electricidad and he wears a lightning bolt on his tie.
Yes.
oh, I didn't know
Fuck!
that.
I forgot about it. It was like, no, it is actually a word, and I was just like, he's wearing a lightning bolt, man. Like, fucking hell.
I think you were here for this part, Alec, but I was saying, like, I didn't notice until the end, but his name is literally Electric Dad. Like, he's
Yeah.
one of the students. His name is Electric Dad.
Yep.
Fucking hell.
And that's
It
also
is-
a missed opportunity because Electricity Father sounds much better.
To be honest, I think
Electricity.
I think it's bad as each other.
I mean, the thing is, Electricidad obviously works enough as a name because you didn't notice, Rob.
I also didn't notice that a rectangle is a minus symbol.
Also,
I
I want to take this opportunity to say that I think Lavagirl is a massive cunt. This whole thing, she's like the fate of the world is at stake, and she's going, Max, yeah, you need to go and dream to save the entire world. But if you've got time, I want to know. I've not got any direction. Can you find my backstory? Dream up a backstory for me, Max. I don't know what I'm doing. And I was just like, can you stop? He's got to save the world. You got to let him sleep. Why are you fucking distracting him with your bollocks?
Yep. The other thing about the teacher was that literally every pun was about electricity, and there was a point where he had to explain it, and I'm just like, stop! It's a bad pun. You fucking don't explain.
Dan, there wasn't a point where he had to explain it. He explained it every time.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, he did. He's like, what? Get
Sorry.
it? What?
There was a point where he explained it, and that point was repeated.
Every
Yeah.
fucking
Time. Yeah, that was horrible.
There was a. Sorry, man, go on.
No, go on.
I was just going to say that there was a bit where it was either a joke that I didn't get or it was a setup that I didn't notice. I'm not sure, but it's when Max's parents are trying to find him in the school and they're like, "Oh, he's in room C. No, he's in room W." No, that was the old school. What was that all about?
I mean, first of all, it was a really dumb moment that held no meaning at all.
Yeah.
That scene really annoyed me because I was like, what was the point of that scene? Realistically speaking, I assume the point is that they've had to move a lot or something, and that's why he struggles to make friends. Like, that's the only thing I could get from it, but it was dumb and stupid.
It was dumb and stupid, and to prelude that, the only time they really talked about it was when Max asked his mom, why did we have to move so close to school? Is it your dad wanted to something? So they hinted at the fact that it was recently that they moved. But again, like John said, it was no point. Sorry, what you said, Dan?
It was to save on fuel. That's why he wanted to move.
So like it moved to a different school. It might have been the same school, but also I think that sums up the entire movie, which is you going, yeah, they did this because something.
Yeah, it was basically that.
The whole like Lavagirl backstory thing was really fucking dumb because the whole way through the movie she's incredibly selfish. Like particularly when he actually finally gets to sleep and is doing something, she's like, "Hey, fucking do it." But then also, she doesn't get a backstory. Like they Kingdom Hearts it and they went, it's light. It's like, right? I mean, fire creates light. That was kind of obvious from the start. Do you still realize that her hair is not purple?
What were you saying, Pat?
I didn't say anything.
He's not saying, statistically, he's not saying anything.
Ask, have you been having strokes occasionally throughout this call?
Who? I can't hear.
Oh dear.
What you said, Alex? Sorry.
I wasn't saying anything. John asked if you were having strokes the whole time, and you went,
God. Right. And on that note, let's find out what the next one is.
So,
also, I just want to say the thing where she said, where he's explaining her backstory and he's going like, "You're not lava, you are light." That was another moment where my body went tingles, and I was like, "No, stop it! We're not doing this. We're not having tingles for this one."
She's
Oh shit.
makes sense.
I think there was a point actually where I got, for some reason, I got over emotional. And I was laughing, but I almost cried. I was like, there was a point, I think it was where she was, I think she was meant to be dying. And because they kind of they forebode it in one of his very quick like shots of his dream early on where the Sharkboy's running.
By the way.
Huh?
That they showed multiple times, by the way.
Oh, I only noticed it once because I wasn't paying attention.
He was having a stroke.
But I was like laughing at just how bad everything was. And I was just like, but if it was real, it'd be kind of sad. And then I had like water in my eyes. And I was like, this is so bad. But it's also a nice gesture what Sharkboy is doing. But I can't care because it's so bad.
I mean, it wasn't really a nice gesture because she risked her life to save him, and then he risked his life to try and save her. It's like, hang on, you're just undoing all the work she just did.
So why does he run really fast? I never known sharks to run
Because
really fast.
he's a shark. He's got a shark. He's got talons. He knows mixed martial arts, and he can run really fast, can't he?
Yeah, he can swim very fast, run very fast.
Makes complete
He's
sense.
gifted.
Still drown.
What'd you say,
He can still drown,
Yeah.
but he can also bite through a solid iron cage like sharks can't.
And he gets really angry
Hey,
about so
sharks probably could. They just don't want to.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Oh yeah, their
Courteous
teeth break
animals.
off a lot of times, don't they? I forgot about that.
wait a minute.
So minor point, but I really did like that little reveal thing where they're like doing the Batman in BVS, where they're like clinging to the wall, and it's like the lightning strike thing, and they're just both there, and I really enjoyed that. So
I don't even remember that. That sounds pretty cool.
he's walking around his kitchen, and it's like Sharkboy, Lavagirl, and it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and they're both just on the wall like this, and I found that very funny.
Oh, that was the part where I was looking away. I was kind of talking over that whole part. And I kind of just turned, I was like, oh, stuff happens. Okay, cool.
I like how you can
That's not actually
pinpoint that
funny
as well. Like, oh, that was the precise second that I was not looking at the screen.
When I give up on watching this film.
Right. So, Rob, what's
Just trying to end this. Sorry.
Torturing him.
That's
They
how
might-
bad it is.
So my film, so going back to what Dan said earlier, so about how we've had lots of different kinds of bad in this round.
oh no.
So my genre of bad is a genre of bad that we're all very familiar with. It's George Lucas bad. I don't think it's a film that any of us have seen. It's Howard the Duck.
Oh fuck.
Oh,
I saw it very young.
So
And my dad said it would scare me, and I believed him, and I never watched it.
Is it so bad?
Oh, the Nuck.
it's available on Sky, or you can rent it on Prime if you want to.
nice band.
Oh,
Oh, it's
God.
available on Sky, you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it,
Oh,
it's, in the
God, I can
league,
watch that now too.
it's in the league of Ninja Turtles film, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's that poor puppet.
Hey,
Um,
you be careful what you say. Ninja Turtles is great.
it
Hey,
is
so
great, but
is this, I think, to be honest.
Am I the only one who's seen this one?
Yeah, I guess so.
So
if I'd seen it, it'd been a long time ago, but I don't have.
How exciting.
How about that thing where they like did the whole Howard the Duck in Marvel and then never did anything with it?
They're very scared of doing anything with him, just in case it becomes. If you add too much Howard the Duck, it might become a box office failure. They're just
Well-
trying to add him little by little.
I just
So-
love that, like, hey, end credits, it's Howard the Duck. That's it. See you later.
Such a betrayal, man. Such a betrayal.
He's in the end game fucking war bit. He's like, I've been looking for him, but he's apparently like in a couple of frames. And it's like, don't add too much. He might taint the whole thing. People will just walk out if you put too much Howard the Duck in it.
I mean,
also,
Howard the Duck.
Sorry, man, go on.
I was just saying, Howard Duck's like one of those characters where I can't even now be disservice. I was going to try and compare him to Spider Pig. The Spider Pig is actually cool and funny. But
Oh, dude,
like
you
said
cannot
with-
say that Howard the Duck is not cool or funny.
No, put it this way. Howard the Duck I'm trying to think, the only time I remember him working was when I think he was in some kind of comic for a little while with Deadpool.
No.
And Deadpool
Red
got
card.
no.
Red
outrageous.
Oh, what did you say,
Where I was-
Deadpool?
I don't really like Deadpool, you know, but
Deadpool
Huh?
with forbidden words.
Oh,
okay,
My
whatever.
next
I'm saying.
pick,
I have 3 volumes of Howard the Duck, and he's
Oh, man.
brilliant in all of it.
Maybe it's because I don't like Howard the Duck. I think it's one of those things. So I could not have more than a few minutes of him.
Howard the Cup.
Otherwise, I'd be pissed off.
Oh, dude. A little bit of
Don't-
pre-trivia for when you're watching it to keep in mind. So this was technically the first Marvel movie, and also technically the first Pixar movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it'll probably be
Yeah.
really bad.
A lot of people say it's really bad. I disagree with all of them.
Also,
my.
just to re-establish a rule that we didn't establish previously, don't ever say that anything better. No, don't say anything was better when you included Deadpool in it. It's always worse. That's the 5th law of Einstein's thermodynamics. It's always worse when you include Deadpool in anything.
Oh, no, I didn't.
By that logic, how the ducks must be.
I think it's one of those logics. It was the logic in my head that he annoys me so much, and he's like so annoying, so bad, but they're kind of balanced out in my head. So for a little bit, it actually kind of worked out. But I didn't want to watch it anyway because I didn't like either of them. But I
That's
don't know.
acceptable. I'm okay with that.
Rob,
Hmm?
I thought you said you hadn't seen this.
No, I don't think anyone else had seen it, but Alec has.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you said, I must be remembering wrong. I thought you said
guess what, Alec?
one of
Oh, it's probably
Oh
rubbish.
no. Oh no.
Yeah, that's Deadpool. That's probably crap.
Why?
Yeah, that's Deadpool,
I
all right.
think I think my most memorable kind of scene in the comics in Deadpool was when Spider-Man, he was fighting like side by side with Spider-Man with some bad guys, whatever, against some bad guys. And Deadpool got hit. He was about to fall and like break his neck from a building. Spider-Man saved him. And then afterwards, they were talking back to back. He was like, you know what? I actually wish I let you drop because you can't you shut up? Spider-Man isn't normally rude. He's a very nice guy, kind guy, but that one moment, he's just like, I shouldn't have actually saved you. You would have been fine anyway. At least I would have had a little piece. I was like, yes, Peter Parker, you get it.
I mean, also, why would you bother saving someone who's immortal?
Yeah, there's that. But it was his reaction. He's like, oh, let me just help him out. And plus, he'll be better in a fight to help me because it's bad guys. But
I feel like that time could have been spent more on dealing with the bad guys.
it
Yeah.
could have. But I mean, Peter Parker, he's Peter Parker. He doesn't always make the best decisions. I'm
He's a
just
very
gonna leave it at that.
man.
Huh?
He's a very intelligent young man. How dare you?
Yes, he is.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Apart
He is.
from